Holy cow. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Get out of there. Right. Okay, so my AC was finally fixed. As you know, I called a professional, and it was just a transformer. And the guy fixed it, and these guys, man, I mean, it took me like 2-3 days to figure out what was wrong. He did it in about 5 minutes and found the air sender. Just like that. He's like, oh, it has to be here. So sure enough, it was a door there. Anyway, so after he fixed that, I was telling him about how my oil burner, right? I said to all the commenters that was trying to help me troubleshoot my AC that I don't have a furnace. I have an oil burner that runs baseboard heating in each room. It's not connected to the AC whatsoever. So I didn't have a panel or module, whatever, all that stuff, you know. Anyway, so a couple of years ago, this started leaking a little bit of water on the side. So I think it's cracked or something like that. And some plumber came and he put like this oatmeal stuff in the pipes, and he says that should last me about a year. It's lasted like 2 years, but I think eventually I'm gonna have to replace this oil burner, which is like several $1,000s. So anyway, I wanted the guy, the AC guy, he also does heating, to come look at it. So after he looked at it, he says, oh, it looks pretty good, you know, if you need to replace it, let me know, and I'll come and replace it, whatever. And I was just standing like right here, and then I noticed this thing on my hot water heater, okay? This is my hot water heater, or water boiler, if you will, powered by the oil burner, okay? I guess water is pumped in there, and I guess it's heated in here and sent back in there. I'm really not 100% sure, to be honest with you. Hold on for a minute. Troublemaker. That dog is like another kid, you know what I mean? Anyway, so the guy, the AC guy, told me, well, you're going to have to fix that, because if this goes, you're going to flood your basement with all this water. I'm like, crap. So it looks like there's a pinhole in here, leaks out water, trickles out, if you will, has filled up this little part here where the paint is, right? And he says, I'm going to get you an estimate on this tank. And so he called me back and he says, it's going to cost you $2,000 to replace this tank. I'm like, son of a gun. And then I said to him, I go, well, what if I just peeled this away and grinded that out? He goes, oh, you can't grind it out because it's too thin. You don't want to, you know, rub out all that stuff. So there's only like a small pinhole up, that is what I can see, right? I said to him, why don't I use Jbweld? And he goes, yeah, that would probably work. So I said, well, I'm going to try that before I go spend $2,000 on a new tank. You know what I mean? So I asked him what I had to do before I did that. Is this thing pressurized? You know, he's like, no, it's just like the weight of the water's pressure, you know, but you do have to get rid of the air. And I think the air is this thing here. You just pull it up and release some air. But in the meantime, I believe this water is like hot. You know what I'm saying? But first thing I got to do is I got to shut off the water going into it. And I believe it's these two, okay? Let's trace it. Right? And then there's only two pipes that go in here. This is cold. And this is warm. But then there's another one that goes to the oil burner, and this goes in there. So I think that's the water that well, there's got to be more things I got to shut off then, you know. But he said just turn those things off, which I'm gonna do. Man, that's a problem, because it's seized, and I don't want to turn it anymore because I'll bust something. if I just did this? What if I just release the pressure of that? You know what I mean? I gotta think about this for a minute. So, I'm just gonna break this and see if I could. It doesn't seem pressurized, so I'm just gonna break that, the paint. I actually don't see any hole. I mean, maybe it's too small for me to notice. To grind that out a little bit with I don't really see a hole, nor any water coming out, but I know that there's, oh, there it is. Shoot. That's trouble, guys. Right there. See? Water's coming out. Oh, man. Shit. I gotta stop filming. Okay, I was in like a little bit of a panic there, so I found these big things just in case, you know what I'm saying? Got a garden hose and attached it to the hot water part there and have it drain out outside. Nothing really came out of here, even though it says to empty tank, open relief valve, open drain valve, and it should come out, but not that much came out. I opened the relief valve here, and some water came down, but not a lot. Good part is, this is now dry and not shooting out water, you know? So this will give me an opportunity to clean this part out. See, it's dry. Clean this part out and put some Jbweld. I shut off the main water so that I don't have an accident, and that'll give you all night to cure, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully that'll work. I also shut that valve. I think that's the water main that comes from the house into the basement. I mean, I'm thinking. But anyway, I'm going to get cracking and mix that Jbweld. I'm going to first grind it out a little bit. I don't mean grind out, because I don't want to grind it out. But I will clean this, get the paint around it. What would cause a pinhole leak like that, you know? That's not good. Not good at all. Anyway, I'm going to do this and I'll show you what it comes out to. After cleaning it up, that's what it looks like. A small little pinhole that's right there. See? That's all it is. I have the pressure relief valve just draining the pressure from the tank. Not a whole lot of water's coming out, you know. And because of that, this is now dry. When this was down, it started bubbling up a little bit. So I'm going to take advantage of this time right now while it's dry and mix some of that Jbweld. This is your Jbweld. I got it from Pep Boys on my way to my daughter's soccer game. So I'm just going to put about half of this on here, half of this on here. One's a hardener and one's the putty. Got a blob of black. I'm going to do a blob of red. This is the hardener. Blob of hardener. I'm going to do it fast and mix it with this thing. So here we go. Got a blob of that. Just going to put it right over it. That's it. It looks super wet because it's warm, you know. I mean, it's hot, so I just hope no water goes on it, you know. I mean, comes out of it. And the key is to keep this pressure valve open so that it doesn't build up, you know, heat expands, right? And so water just keeps trickling out from the heat, you know. But it shouldn't refill with water since I turned the water main off, you know. I guess I'm gonna have to use bottled water to brush our teeth just at least for overnight, you know. I'm really nervous. I don't know if this will work. I mean, it should work. I mean, that hole was so small, you know what I mean? We'll find out in the morning. So it's morning time now. It's 8 o'clock almost. And this has been curing overnight for, yeah, 8 or 9 hours. It's hardened, it's cured, and technically I could just turn on the water and pressurize and all that, but I don't trust myself. So what I'm going to do is, since this is now hardened, right, and theoretically it definitely should have taken care of that pinhole, you know what I mean, right? I still have half a tube of the putty and half a tube of the hardener. So I'm going to squeeze both out completely, mix it again, and I'm going to put another layer on top of that just to make sure. My kids are at school, so we don't really need water or take a shower yet, you know. We could deal with roughing it for another day or another afternoon, you know. How about that? It's Project Farm on Motor Trend channel. Pretty cool. Since I'm not in a panic, I'll make the video better. Grab my tripod. So this is just to show the people who have never used Jbweld before. This is called steel. I guess it's like filler or putty or something like that. I'm not going to squeeze the entire thing out. I'm going to leave a little bit in case I need some for something else. It's $6.99 for this package. This is what's called the hardener. And once you combine these two, it makes a chemical bond that is similar to a weld without actually welding it. I've tried Jbweld a lot, you know, and I mean, it works for certain applications, but if the joint is really fragile or, you know, at an angle that's, you know, difficult, it may not hold. But for surfaces like this, you know, like a pinhole, it ought to work. It's pretty hard. Just kind of mix it, you know. That hardener is mixing with the black putty, if you will, and it combines into this color, kind of like a charcoal. You want to mix it so you don't see that the white hardener. Not really white, but off-white color. Putty knife usually is good for mixing and scraping and applying. Ideally you want like a plastic thing. I just use this back of the package, which is what most people do. Alright. You know what? I don't know if I should put it on here. It doesn't really do anything if it's on there, you know? But maybe I could reinforce this area. If I reinforce this area, I have to reinforce all of the areas. You know what? I'll just go around here. Really not going to do much, just basically do a little bit more sealing around what I did already, you know. I mean, it looks ugly, but who comes down here? Nobody comes down here. Kind of making like a slope up, you know. That's pretty good. So while technically I could just turn on the water, I don't really have to yet, you know, because we don't really need it. Kids are at school, so I'll just make do. Give it a, you know, whole morning and afternoon to cure once again, and then I should be okay to turn on the water. We'll see what happens. Just gonna wait till it cures. So I just closed the relief valve and I turned on the water main, and now I can hear water going through the pipes, and I think it's filling this up now. I'm kind of nervous. Plumbing really scares me. Plumbing with furnace and hot water heater always scares me. Water mains scare me. This should hold though. It was only a pinhole. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes and the sound of water is no longer on. So you know what I'm saying? I think it equalized all the pipes. So there's water in all the pipes now. And so far, so good. There is no leaks anywhere. Obviously I turned this thing off. So I'm going to turn it back on again. It was there. And then I have a switch up on top to turn the furnace on, and I guess it'll start heating up the water, and that of course will build pressure, so that really makes me nervous. But you know what? Just gotta pull off the band-aid. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I'll be swimming. But it looks good, you know. I mean, Jbweld, you know, it holds a lot of, you know, weight. You know, it's supposed to be like steel, and I've got 2 layers on there, you know, for a pinhole, so it should be alright. I'm gonna go turn the switch on. So far, so good. So, looks like everything's good. Burner stopped burning. It shut off by itself because I guess all the water is heated now. It's nice and quiet now. There's no sound of water flowing through the pipes. The burner stopped. Heater's warm and no leaks. Looks like I fixed it. I was reading the package of the Jbweld. It actually says up to 3,690 psi. This tank definitely does not give off more than, I don't know, 50 psi, because it's not air pressure, you know what I'm saying? It's just water weight pressure. Of course, maybe a little bit more with the warm water or hot water, you know, but I think, you know, I think that'll be all right. I guess I'll find out moving forward, right? If my basement is all wet on the carpet, I'll know that I've sprung a leak. So anyway, I wanted to ask you guys, the guy who was supposed to fix this, the same guy who fixed my AC, he was going to charge me $2,000 to have this water heater replaced and installed. I kind of think that's a little too much, don't you? Isn't this thing only like $300 to $500? Is an installation $1,500? I don't know. Write in the comments if you guys are plumbers or AC heating guys, you know. How much does this cost to replace, okay? And eventually, how much, because I think I have a crack in that green thing. A small crack, because it's not leaking for 2 years now, you know. But I eventually think that I'm going to have to replace this. So how much is it to replace this and that? Give me a roundabout ballpark figure, will you? I don't want to be, you know me, I don't want to be taken for a ride. If anybody takes anybody for a ride, it's going to be me taking them for a ride. You know what I mean? Anyway, guys, thanks for following me along this headache of a mess. I tell you, being a homeowner, man, you got worries, man, and these are definitely worries. I don't know how long this is going to last, but hey, if it saves me $2,000 for now, it seems to be okay. The rest of the tank looks fine. I mean, look, I would have replaced it if the whole tank was all rusty like that, you know what I mean? I'm not going to, you know, encase the whole damn thing in Jbweld, you know, but it was just a pinhole, you know what I mean? The rest of it looks pretty good. I haven't had any problems with it in 18 years. But give me your estimates, fellas. Appreciate it, man. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Hey guys, support my channel. Buy a sticker. Also, follow me on Instagram at Mowers Blowers. Yeah! Check out my website, mowersblowers.com. See you guys on the next one. Have a great day.
Next time on Blowers and...
See, you just screwed that all up. All right, take two.
Henry, see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Great
yeah!